Nebraska has a nice win against Louisiana Tech, and Colorado is finding its first loss against Oregon. I'm going to give you guys my reaction to both of these games, and we're also going to talk about what we need to fix and my projections going into this game against Michigan this next weekend. What's up, guys? Welcome back to FFT. I'm Trevor. Let's check it out. Okay, so I've got some notes regarding the Nebraska versus Louisiana Tech game. Obviously, this was a game that we were expecting to win, but there were a couple things that we were paying attention to throughout this game. One of them being the quarterback situation, with Heinrich Haarberg getting his second start. I've got some thoughts about that. We did get Jeff Sims to get a chance to see Jeff Sims play a second. But then we were also paying attention to the running back room with Anthony Grant getting kind of the lead role and the start for Nebraska. We really wanted to see what he could be able to do, or what he would be able to do as the workhorse for our team. So let's go ahead and jump into my notes. First of all, I just want to address the Matt Rule lip thing has been fixed. My wife pointed out that against Northern Illinois, he could not stop licking his lips. It seemed like he didn't know what chapstick was, or that he needed a drink of water. And somebody addressed it, and he is now hydrated. So thank you to whoever gave him some Gatorade. Let's go ahead and jump into my second point. Our defense is phenomenal. We are now the number one rushing defense in all of college football, and I am just excited about what we are going to continue to see out of this defense going forward. Our front seven is exceptional. They get to the ball. They are quick. They are energized. It seems like we finally have a black shirt defense that wants to make plays, that wants to tackle, that wants to be the first guy to the ball, and it is so exciting. And finally, this is what Nebraska football should be, where our offense is good, but our defense is phenomenal. And we have that now. We have that at Nebraska. And I'm worried about what's going to happen to our defensive coordinator after this year, but that's something we can talk about down the road. Obviously, we gave up some passing yards and passing plays, but I think our secondary will get tuned and fixed as well. I'm not worried about it. With our front seven looking the way that they are, we can pay more attention to our secondary now, and I think it's only going to continue to get better. We're going to have to see what they're able to do against Michigan. That might be the first true test. So, but for now, our defense is great, and I'm excited to see it as a Husker fan. Let's talk quickly about Jeff Sims and Heinrich Haarberg. Obviously, Heinrich got his second kind of start for Nebraska. Jeff Sims seems to not be 100% yet, and I think that's the reason that Jeff Sims didn't get the start, is simply because of his health. Now, after this performance by Heinrich Haarberg, I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the quarterback room. I believe, now this is just, this is obviously from a fan perspective, from somebody that cares about this team, but isn't at practices, isn't at, I'm not a coach for this team. I don't have, personal relationships with each of these players. I'm not seeing what they're providing on the practice field. Obviously, the coaches know more about these players than we do from the outside looking in. So I'm going to give Matt Rule and the offensive coaches the benefit of the doubt regarding who is playing or starting against Michigan. I'm not going to be upset either way. I'm really not. But here's the thing. The eyeball test is giving me everything that I need to know regarding this too. Heinrich Haarberg has been considered like the Jeff Sims light, the kind of the same archetype as Jeff Sims. But as far as I'm concerned, Heinrich Haarberg is doing everything that we wanted to see Jeff Sims doing. He's protecting the football. He's making good choices. He's decisive. He's still a great runner. He is completing the ball, those 10 to 20 yard completions. I talked about this in a past video where I wanted to see Jeff Sims leading his receivers so they can make plays after the catch. And Heinrich was doing that for the most part. And so I'm just excited about what Heinrich is able to do. I feel like he's proven himself on the football field, and now Jeff Sims is the guy that needs to prove that he should be the true starter rather than the other way around. I feel like Heinrich is, he has shown that he can be the true QB1 for Nebraska, and I'm excited about that. Jeff Sims came in for a play against Louisiana Tech, and I'll just say this: he looks like he's the backup to Heinrich. The way he looks slower, he looked like he was a little bit more antsy in the pocket. Seemed like he wasn't as confident. He's injured. I get that, but just watching Heinrich play and then seeing Jeff Sims come in for a snap, it just seemed like it was definitely a step down. I don't know. That's just me watching the game. Take it for what it is, but those are kind of my thoughts. Let's jump into Kemp and Grant. I want to talk about Billy Kemp, Anthony Grant. Billy Kemp seemed like he was everywhere on the field against Louisiana Tech. He was returning kicks. He was involved in jet sweeps. He was down the field for completions and passes and was just getting open everywhere. It seems like Billy Kemp is kind of the guy right now. I told my dad, and he's like, "Who's Billy Kemp?" And he wasn't expected to be like the guy for Nebraska, but he's making plays, and as long as he's making plays, I say that that Heinrich or Sims or whoever's playing quarterback is looking for this guy down the field, and we're trying to involve him as much as possible, because the other guy, Anthony Grant, who started as our running back for this game, played awesome as well, but he's just one guy. We can't rely on him all game long, and I think that we are going to be a run-heavy offense, and I'm excited about it because both of our quarterbacks are good at running the ball, and we have Anthony Grant, who is exceptional. I know that people after game 1 against Minnesota were saying, why are we playing Anthony Grant? He's prone to dropping the football, and he isn't as good as Gabe Ervin or Ramir Johnson, and I just don't think that that's true. I've always thought that Anthony Grant was putting his heart out on the line. He was giving it his all every single game, and yes, he had some kind of football protection issues, but I think that we're going to work past that, and I think he's just as good, if not better, of a running back than these other guys. And so I'm completely fine with him being our RB1 for Nebraska, but he can't be, a 3-down back every series. We're going to need to rely on guys like Billy Kemp, Washington. Let's talk about Thomas Fedoni. He needs to be used more often. That guy makes clutch plays throughout the game. I don't know if you guys saw, but he had an incredible catch that got us a 3rd down conversion down the field, got open, has sure hands. I like what he's providing as well. So we have weapons in this offense. We just need to figure out what we're doing at the quarterback position, and I think we just keep running the ball, whether it's Sims or Harburg or handing it off to Grant or getting Kemp involved in some jet sweeps. I think that we continue to do that because it's working for our offense, and as long as it's working, why fix what isn't broken? So those are my thoughts. Some things that we do need to fix for Nebraska is penalties. This happened in our game against, I think, both Minnesota and Colorado, but where we had penalties within the red zone. And we had, I think, 3 potential scores against Louisiana Tech called back because of either holding calls or some sort of penalty. And we need to clean that up. That our offense is already struggling in some ways. We can't let penalties be another sort of hurdle that we've got to get past. So turnovers, penalties, just being smart with the football. Those are kind of 3 things that we need to monitor and improve on offense. But overall, I'm excited about kind of where our offense seems to be turning a corner. Even with the injuries, we seem like we're headed in the right direction. So I'm excited about that. Let's quickly talk about the Colorado loss. And I'm going to give you my honest opinions as a Nebraska fan living in Colorado. I wasn't quite sure how to approach this topic because I keep seeing everywhere on social media, from Colorado fans or just other college football fans, why is Nebraska so fixated on Colorado? We're past that game. We're 2 games past that game. Why do we care? And obviously there's hype for this Colorado program. Okay, so Colorado is better than people expected. I think their line was either 2.5 or 3.5 wins on the season. They already have 3 wins. Sanders is the coach. I get it. He is exciting as a head coach. He's flashy. He's well known. So I get it. But why do I care? Why do I care about Colorado? I'm going to just give you a couple thoughts, okay? First of all, CU is a rival. You can't tell me that if you're a Colorado fan out there watching this video, you can't tell me that you cheer when Nebraska goes down or loses a game, or like there's that rivalry aspect. So it goes both ways. And because Colorado has just been highlighted so much before the season, after game 1, and since then, they are more hyped up as a team and across everywhere on social media and on, Big Ten Network, even, and ESPN, NFL Network. They are mentioned everywhere. They are getting, Nebraska fans aren't the ones elevating them. We're reacting to everything that is being elevated. You need to take it for what it is. Nebraska is not fixated on Colorado. Colorado is being so hyped that we are reacting to what you could call, I guess, current events of college football today. So with CU being a rival, with how much the team is getting hyped and how much media attention they're getting, also there's the fact that Sanders, in my opinion, created some drama about Matt Rule and what he said about his family and the program. And if you know Matt Rule is not the sort of guy that throws punches and, bashes teams just for the sake of doing it and, says things. He's not that type of guy. He is a genuine person that has integrity, and he is very kind. When he went to the middle of the field for the Nebraska-Colorado game, there was no disrespect intended there. People are allowed to walk on the 50-yard line, by the way. That is not something that deserves, national media attention. I saw that Colorado fans were walking on the 50-yard line for the Oregon game. I saw someone kicking the O on the field. I think that maybe that got overhyped as well. I don't think that there is a big deal about walking on the field on the 50-yard line. So let's maybe cool it a little bit. Matt Rule is not an aggressive person against teams and coaches. That's just not his style and his demeanor. He's not that type of guy. But when Sanders brought it up as sort of a drama point, yes, as a Nebraska fan, I'm going to react to it because I defend my team and I'm loyal to my team. So that's just the way it's going to be. And then as a fan base, I went to the Colorado-Nebraska game. Again, I live in Colorado, and so I get this everywhere. I can't wear a Nebraska. I'm not wearing one today. I'm wearing my Baylor Sikkim hoodie. But I can't go anywhere wearing Nebraska garb without getting crap for it. That's just the way it is living in Colorado. I totally get it. But being at the game was a whole different sort of experience. I've been to 2 Nebraska-Colorado games, actually 3, 2 of them in Colorado. And both times I've been there, I have never seen as much disrespect and rudeness and cursing and just abuse from a fan base as I have in Colorado. Now, if you are a nice Colorado fan, and I believe that there are nice Colorado fans out there, I just haven't met any yet. And I'm being pretty honest about that. I've been to a lot of Nebraska football games in multiple different states. I have never seen it as bad as I have in Boulder. And that's just, you can't, that's my personal take on it. That is my personal experience. If you don't believe me, that's fine. But that is the honest truth. I've never seen it as bad as I have at Nebraska Colorado games. So yeah, I take it a little bit more personal when it comes to Colorado. And it's kind of nice to see the 42-6 loss for Colorado. I'll be honest. I may have predicted this when I saw that Colorado's wins were against, again, a shell of a team that they were last year against TCU, and then Nebraska, who obviously, I'll admit, is probably worse than Colorado this year. But when those are the 2 big wins that everyone is getting excited about for Colorado, it goes to show me that maybe they aren't quite as good as people are expecting, because they almost lost, let's be honest, against CSU, who it shouldn't have been a close game in overtime. And then losing the way they did to Oregon, their first real competitor in my mind. I think, I made a bet against my brother that they're only going to win 2 more games this season. I could be wrong about that, but that's just my thoughts on it. But let's move on. I want to say one more thing. There was talk about Sanders coming and maybe being the head coach for Nebraska at one point, but I am so excited about Matt Rule. I think that Matt Rule is the better fit for Nebraska overall. If you guys watch the Sanders post-game press conferences versus the Matt Rule post-game press conferences, you can see Sanders has sort of this aggressive confidence where he wants to exude that he is in control of the room and that he's put together and he's cool, calm, and collected. And I get that. That's his personality. But when you watch Matt Rule, he goes into a press conference and he's still got confidence. It's just more of a sort of calm demeanor. And I feel like that's honestly just a better fit for Nebraska as a whole. I don't think that Sanders would have been as much of a cultural fit for Nebraska, just in his coaching style and in his sort of arrogant, prideful sort of way that he goes about things. And okay, arrogant, prideful, maybe those weren't the best words. The sort of, actually, yeah, I mean, he has a cockiness about him. I'll just say it, all right? I'm not a huge fan of that, but as a Colorado fan, when you're winning your season 3-1, I could see how you would be fine with that sort of demeanor. But Rule isn't the type of guy that's looking for drama or hype in order to build his program. I feel like Colorado needs that. I'll just be frank. I haven't seen a lot of Colorado pride until this year when they finally have some wins under their belt. I feel like in order for Colorado to be successful, they need this sort of hype and drama and media attention that Colorado is getting right now in order to be successful. I just think that that's part of the deal for them right now, and that's totally fine. It's just I don't think that that's what Nebraska is looking for. Rule is looking for kind of a long-term success where I think Sanders is trying to eat up everything that he can in the moment. And again, that's not a bad thing. It's just two different coaching styles. I'd prefer the guy that has more of a foundational build for long-term success than a guy that's looking for, immediate, in the moment flashiness and excitement. That's my personal preference, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm excited about Matt Rule. Like I've said in past videos, I love what he's doing at Nebraska. I'm very pleased with this year so far. We have to remind ourselves as Nebraska fans that we signed on for a long-term build. It feels like we forgot that after game 1 against Minnesota. We're like, okay, let's maybe get 6 wins this season. And then immediately after the Minnesota game, we're like, why are we not a 10-2 team? Why, we gotta remind ourselves what we're signing on for with Matt Rule. So I believe that the trajectory for Nebraska we're gonna see us continue to trend up. Obviously, we're playing Michigan this weekend, so we may see a little bit of a bump in the road before we continue on our way. But I do think that Nebraska is poised for some upsets later in this season. I think that if our defense shows up against Michigan, we have a slimmest of slim chances to pull an upset there. I'm not banking on it, though. I think that we do end up losing this game against Michigan. We do have, obviously, the injuries for our running backs and some defensive injuries as well that are going to be some setbacks for us. And I'm not making excuses, but these are things that are just realities for our team. So I'm curious what you guys think. Did I overdo the Colorado piece? I don't know. I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are. Is our defense good enough to get us to a bowl game this year? That's another thing that we're going to talk about kind of down the road as well. But I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. Leave a comment down below. But otherwise, guys, please like and subscribe if you guys want to see some more FFT content. I cover the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and I also cover fantasy football. And I bring out videos every day, or not every day, but throughout the week. So pay attention to that. But until then, I'll catch you later. Go Big Red.